Hey everybody, I'm Quinn.
And I'm Scott, and it's time for the Almost Friday show for December 2nd, 2010.
Kicking it off and off the press, we're talking about the Spider-Man musical, which just seems to really be getting terrible start.
More sad every time you hear about it.
It's worse than the Google TV launch.
I don't know. That's
Oh,
it's a big claim. But they have some TV spots out now, which don't do them any favors, really.
And they did actually have a first run the other night, and that
kind of.
Well, run.
We'll let Sam tell you about that.
Yeah.
Not great for them. Then we're going to the gutters, and Dave's talking about the future of comics as we know it.
He's going to give us his perspective on what's happening with comics, where they're going, and what you should be aware of in the comics that you're going to buy in the future.
So if you're invested in many comics, you should probably stick around.
Absolutely. In Tech Insight, we're talking about Google Beatbox, because apparently German letters put together make funny sounds.
Well, I think we could have assumed that to begin with.
I suppose. Even when they're put together in real words, they make funny sounds.
But if you want to get really creative with it, you can actually get some crazy beats, I guess.
Yeah, I heard Girl Talk was going to use it in his new album.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the new auto-tune.
Absolutely.
Google Translate
Google Beatbox.
in German.
We're also talking about the WikiLeaks, the cable
How could
issue,
we not?
Cablegate, as it's been dubbed.
Really? Has it?
It has been dubbed Cablegate, yes.
It's everything gate now. They got to move on.
Antenna
gate.
I want the gate.
Glass gate.
I want there to be an issue with gates somewhere, and then it'll be Gate. Just because we've reached the level that
someone would say that, and it would be okay.
Yeah, and then from that point on, we'd never ever refer to something as a gate again.
I would really hope they'd get there before. But anyway, we're going to tell you about what's been leaked and what the consequences are and so on as that progresses. It's time for Mad Science. NASA had an announcement, because they do that apparently.
Apparently NASA's still doing things.
They're like, hey, we're having a press conference tomorrow, and they found a new form of life. Not as exciting as you wanted it to be.
Unfortunately.
No. Sean has the details on that.
And behind the lens this week, we're checking out the brand new Panasonic GH2.
Which he actually has.
I do. I was like one of the first people in Canada to get one, luckily.
Apparently still one of the only people in Canada.
Yeah, there's a few of us.
And he's in fact
not very many.
He's in fact on his second.
Yes. So we'll talk about what's awesome about it and what's not quite awesome about it. But without further ado, it's time for Off the Press.
Hey everyone, welcome to Off the Press. Starting it off this week is Spider-Man again. So it opened for previews this past week to not very spectacular reviews, to say the least.
I think well-deserved, not rave reviews, but from everything that I've read, the 3.5 hour performance, all of the different technical difficulties I've had, I think these are things that can be ironed out, and it's eventually going to become, hopefully, a decent show. Some of the problems that I heard, though, is that it is also kind of boring, a not very exciting score.
Yeah.
I think probably the best part of the score is what we hear in the trailers.
Yeah, well, I think this happens because this happens with a lot of rock musicals. They very easily suffer from generic score syndrome.
There'll be like 2 or 3 catchy tunes.
Yeah, there'll be like 2 or 3 of the hits where you're gonna hear like in the preview, and then the rest of the album's gonna be crap.
Yeah.
So with the Spider-Man's release, they've released a couple of TV ads, just to promote the show. So we're just gonna show part of one for you now, and we'll tell you what we think.
Spider-Man, Turn Off the Dark. Visit Ticketmaster.com.
So visually, that looked pretty cool. Like, for a stage show, that would be something I would want to see, but it also looks very cheesy.
Looks really cheesy.
I think musicals have, they've gone beyond the cheese factor now. People doing musicals are more or less trying to be less hello and the glitter and the jazz hands,
They're gimmicks, and it was funny, the guy who's in charge of getting all the money, and I thought it was mostly a U2 funded thing, or a Bono and Ed thing, which turns out it was not.
No.
But when the new guy had to go in and get $30 million to keep the show going, he came up with a really good point. He said, you know what, we can do a $30 million show, but there will be no web slinging. For people who are going to see a Spider-Man show, they don't want to see a non-web swinging Spider-Man.
That's
you
true.
need that, therefore we have to have this extra $30 million.
Yeah.
And I think he was absolutely right. I have had a lot of negative things to say about this show, but
I really wanted to succeed and get over its technical difficulties when it opens in January. So it's got a little bit over a month to do that, and hopefully they can iron out some of the special effects by then.
And I do want to see it, and it's not just out of curiosity. It is now more, you know what, it's Spider-Man on stage. I think I can get into this. It's funny how it's taken me a year and a half of talking about how horrible this could be and how it's just going to be a disaster to finally come around to the point where I'm like, you know what, I think I'd like to see this.
Yeah, so tickets are on sale now. They range from $70 to about $300 US.
They have to recoup $1 million a week.
$1 million a week, so they have to sell at the 1,800 seat theater pretty much every night for them to get their money back. So I'm going to be going to New York in May. Hopefully the show hasn't closed by then, because I am buying tickets to this. It's going to be awesome. Maybe. And moving on to something that's definitely awesome, the Microsoft Kinect, that's Microsoft's Project Natal, or the little sensor bar, has sold 2.5 million devices in 25 days.
Pretty good.
It's pretty fast. Some bloggers have compared it to the iPad. It's like, oh, it's having faster adoption rates than the iPad, but it's like, these items aren't related at all. It's like, you know, we've sold more Kinects than we have cars. It's like, whatever. There's also $150. So this is pretty cool
affordable for what it is.
Very affordable.
Very interesting format, I think, and I think the next thing really is going to be.
But is it
the holodeck?
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. So the other game consoles, especially the PS3 and especially the Wii, definitely have to have some catching up to do after what Microsoft just showed that they can do well.
Yeah, I mean, they've taken programming in there. You know, this is our strength. Okay, let's make a program that really hits it out of the park.
Yeah. So, and now the new releases for this week. Pretty big week this week. In DVDs and Blu-rays, we have Night and Day.
You got Sorcerer's Apprentice, which...
Starring Nick Cage.
We'll leave that alone.
Still Disney. We got the Fantasia and Fantasia 2000 combo pack, so you get both movies in one pack. Awesome.
Twilight Eclipse.
It's got a weird release date on Saturday.
Yeah, which
4th.
seems... Is it? I would assume they're going to have to be some kind of
I
big
think it's
event going with
because
it.
some stores do midnight launches, and not all 12-year-old girls can stay out on a Monday night past midnight, right?
Oh, clever.
Yeah. And in some kind of interesting new release news, you can get Avatar on 3D Blu-ray only if you have a Panasonic Blu-ray player bundle thing. So starting now, if you buy a special bundle for the Panasonic Blu-ray player, you can get the Avatar 3D Blu-ray. Existing owners, I think you can print off a coupon and mail it in, and they'll mail you a Blu-ray.
Sam, what's the big game coming out this week?
It's Epic Mickey!
Epic Mickey!
Only for Wii at the moment, but when it was announced for all three consoles, so we'll see what happens with that.
Cool.
Yep, and not very much interesting happening in theaters this week, unless you like chick flicks, in which case there's like 4 of them coming out this week.
This is your week.
Definitely. And that's it for Off the Press.
Good week, everyone. It's Dave, and this is The Gutters, from The Gutters. We're going to be talking this week about Earth 1. This is written by J. Michael Straczynski, illustrated by Shane Davis, and it is a reboot of Superman. It has been a modernized Superman, and it's not from the regular DC universe that we know. It's from an entirely different one. Superman has not an entirely different history, but a very revised history. And this particular book goes through his first little adventure in Metropolis. He's left the farmhouse, he's left Smallville, and he is going through various remembrances of conversations with his adopted mother, Ma Kent. Pa Kent is apparently dead in this universe as well. And it goes through him trying to find a job and trying to do something. The thing about Clark Kent is that he's wildly successful, wildly good at any kind of application he makes. Baseball, football, sciences, research, that sort of thing. And on top of that, he can do pretty much anything. So he talks to his mother again, talks to Ma Kent, and she's like, I'm fine, do whatever you want. And as he's thinking all of this through, there's an alien invasion. So Superman, Clark Kent, has to sort of figure out what he's going to do. And he remembers some of the words from his uncle, from his Pa Kent. Sorry, I said uncle. It's really sort of feeling Uncle Ben-ish for those who know anything about Spider-Man. And he eventually decides to don the outfit and become Superman, take on the role of a superhero. This whole story is really well written. It is not the best thing I've ever seen, best thing I've ever read from J. Michael Straczynski, but it is well done, very well done. Beautifully illustrated. Shane Davis, the whole team, really, the people involved in putting this book out did a really nice job. I really like particularly the design. They've updated the look. Shane Davis updated the look of Superman without abandoning the Superman iconic look that we're all accustomed to. He also did a good job at maintaining, this is something that I'm particularly picky about, but he did a good job at maintaining people's appearances throughout the book. Alan Davis is probably the main person that I would think of in terms of maintaining a person's look throughout a book or throughout the duration of a book, 10, 20, 30 issues. But in this case, Shane Davis did a really good job at throughout the entire graphic novel, making sure that if you saw one person and you saw them 30 pages later, you'd be able to recognize them. Good composition in his pages as well. Well done, I say, to Shane Davis. J. Michael Straczynski has, since this book, wildly successful. It's sold out within the first 24 hours, the first print, and it's already in third prints right now. This has prompted the DC executive to recommend, or ask, they didn't even recommend, they said, do you want to go from writing all of these different monthly comics and go into just writing graphic novels? Books that are sort of like direct-to-DVD movies in sort of a reverse fashion. Most books, most series, Superman, Batman, all those books, are going to have 5-6 issues released, and then they take those 5-6 issues and bind them into one book. In this case, they're going to be released strictly as books. Mr. Straczynski has said that he is going to be doing this for the next 1 to 5 years. And this leads in a little bit to the next part of my presentation today. Before I do leave the book, I give it an A-. There are things that could have been better, but it is an excellent book. I recommend it. Right now it's only in hardcover. The price point is $19.99 US. It's going to be different depending what country you're in. But I would say well worth the $19.99. Now, getting into the next part, where are comics going? What is the future of comics? There have been so many, in the last 2 or 3 months, there have been a lot of people talking about what's going to be happening to comics in the future. With the advent of digital comics, we are looking at a lot of things, like different companies making their own apps so that you can read their comics on your phone or something like that. There are other companies, Comixology, Graphically, that are making apps where you can read all sorts of different companies' comics. Digital seems to be taking over. The person second in charge at Diamond, who's Diamond Comics Distributing, is basically the distributor for North America, and they're expanding internationally as well. They had said, this guy had said that everyone in every facet of Diamond Distributing has been having a great year, with one exception, a single exception, brick and mortar stores. And it was a very brief mention in a very long interview. So he obviously didn't want to focus on that. it says to me that comic books are going from monthlies into a graphic novel only format. Or, for those who are used to computers and that sort of thing, there's going to be the digital downloads. They're talking about figuring out what the proper price for a comic book is. $2.99 is the current going price. They're going to be dropping it to $2. And people are still saying at this point, you know what, for an extra $1 I can get a hard copy? I'm going to be doing that. So it looks like you're going to have to juggle around some of the pricing and that sort of deal. But as it stands, right now, it looks like your monthly comics are on the way out. The hard copy, 22 pages of story, staples and all that, looks like they're going the way of the dinosaur. And that big chain stores, Indigo, Chapters, places like that, they're going to be selling graphic novels. So it looks like, unfortunately, everybody who really enjoy getting your monthly books, hold on to this while you can, because I think in the next 10 years, they're going to be scarce. That's about it for me. I'll talk to you next week.
Hey everybody, welcome to Tech Insight. We're kicking it off with some fun, a little bit of Google information, shall we say.
Yes, not from Google for a change. We like to talk about what Google's releasing, but someone's actually repurposed one of Google's tools, Google Translate.
Which actually works pretty good as a translator.
It does, it's not bad. It's getting a lot better lately too.
But someone found out that if you convert German to German, and you put in a series of letters that consist of like P, R, S, and some Ks, I believe.
It's just some Zs in there.
There's some Zs in there. It's like there's only like 4 or 5 letters,
Yeah.
but if you space them out properly, basically Google will beatbox, which is quite funny.
It's pretty entertaining.
It was like 2:00 in the morning when I went and checked that out, and I listened to it
extra
like
funny.
7 times and genuinely laughed out loud at it because I was just like, it's adorable. Google is beatboxing.
It's clever.
I want to see the person who's going to take it and like actually run with it, because they have this. Gizmodo posted the article and they had to copy this code in and then it'll sound good.
Yeah.
But I want to see the person who says like, I'm going to write something out. Like I'm going to write out a big thing that it's going to have to translate. It's going to turn
You'd
into a
have
whole
to do an
song.
enormous thing and be like super ready if you were going to do anything on top of it, because once it starts, it just goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But we got a little picture here of the letters, so you can kind of see what you'd have to type in, and you can go ahead and play with those. If you make a really cool beatbox song, send it to us. We'll play it on the show.
Yes.
Should do that. If
Pretty
you can.
cool.
It's
Google
awesome. I
beatboxing.
liked it. I want to see more. I tried changing it to other languages to see if anything happened, and no dice, unfortunately.
No, because it's got to pronounce the German in German.
Yeah, because if you do German and English, it's just like ZZZPK, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's not beatboxing.
Yeah, no. That's just...
But German is like...
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I like how it's only German, too. If you can figure out another language, that would be cool.
Yeah, beatboxing in like Korean or
You
something.
could have, like, international beatboxing. It'd be pretty sweet.
Google Translate beatbox competitions. Okay, we're getting off topic. Bringing it back down to earth. TELUS is doing some good stuff, I think.
TELUS is really shaping up as one of the foremost.
I think they're
big
trying to keep all the
carriers.
really pissed off people that are like, hey, I can't send text messages on your service.
Could be. That's a big problem on TELUS.
So maybe they'll be like, hey, but here's all this other really good stuff you can do instead of using your phone like a phone.
So TELUS has been reshaping their plans lately. They rechanged their upgrade policy to make it less terrible, which, Rogers tried to do the opposite. So
And Fido's now introduced a headset upgrade fee.
yeah, not surprising.
So
Even if you buy your iPhone at the Apple Store, you have to pay the hardware upgrade fee,
that's annoying.
which is silly. But anyway, what TELUS is going to do, starting next year, 2011, they're going to unlock your phone at the end of your contract for a small fee.
Does it have to be at the end of the contract?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's still good. Means
Well,
you can take
it
that
does
phone
make
fee.
a difference, really, because you have to pay out the contract anyway.
Yes, I suppose.
I assume if you left the contract and paid out, they'd probably unlock it for the fee.
Yeah.
But once you sign a contract, you're in the contract.
As long as they get the same amount of money at the end of the day, I don't see what
they
the
don't-
difference would be.
They probably don't care.
But it means if you have that phone, like I've said before, that I really like my iPhone 4, and I don't really see a whole lot of reason for me to upgrade outside of if it learns how to make toast or something. So if I'm done with Fido and I want to leave after my next 3.5 million centuries,
You
it'd be
can't.
great to just be like,
You
no,
can't.
but now I can't. But maybe you can, and tell us now.
You can, actually.
So-
Really cool, because if you're an iPhone owner on TELUS, you just got a big boost.
Definitely.
Because you can take your iPhone and go wherever the heck you want later, which is pretty sweet. And it goes for pretty much all their phones. I think probably not for maybe feature phones or some of the less advanced handsets, because I don't know that those are easy unlocked. But smartphones for sure, Blackberries, everything. So good call and tell us. They don't know what this small fee is yet.
Half the price of the headset.
I'm really hoping it's under $50.
Yes, I would hope so too.
I would assume it is because that's usually where their admin fees are like. So good on, tell us.
Speaking of Apple devices, Richard Branson of Virgin has decided to launch his Project iPad magazine.
Yeah, so he beat another company, big news company. That's
And I also
escaping
cannot
me,
think of the name.
Anyway, well, I'm going to feel like an idiot later. But they're working with Steve Jobs in cahoots to launch a magazine next month.
And Richard Branson's like,
yeah, because they're
he
working,
just jumped in his race car and beat everyone to the finish line.
or his spaceship,
Or his
or
helicopter.
one of his planes. You know.
He parachuted out of a plane writing the code for his iPad app, and when he landed on the ground, he delivered it.
Pretty much. So he decided, he's like, well, we don't. Rupert Murdoch.
That's it. There you go.
He's working with Steve Jobs. Apparently, iOS 4.3 is coming out in early December, and it's supposed to have support for subscription-based magazine apps. So basically, Branson was like, I can do that right now.
Because I'm Richard Branson.
So he did. So Project Magazine looks pretty cool. The cover is pretty sweet. It's got Jeff Bridges on there, kind of Tron. Tron's really taking a lot of front pages.
Jeff Bridges also has a cool article where he's talking about how he's just going to license out his face and not act in movies anymore because of what was done in Tron.
Yeah. So basically, what you get with Project Magazine, you pay $3 a month. So I don't know how. I think you probably have to rebuy the app every month or something
Possibly.
like that. Or there's an in-app purchase. But anyway, basically, content gets continually updated in that month.
Oh, okay.
So that's actually, depending on how often they update, they haven't really specified.
Well, hopefully, if they're on a good schedule, it means something you can constantly read.
Once a week or something, even if it's a couple things, that's not bad for $3 in terms of magazines, right? So it's going to be covering tech, entrepreneurship, design. It looks like a pretty cool magazine. Kind
It's
of
like what Richard Branson reads while he's on the bathroom.
yeah, it's like Richard Branson shoved into a magazine. Like fast cars. I think there's something about a new Jag on the front page or something, and Tron and stuff like that. So I mean, it's a pretty it's like popular mechanics meets like business with some cars. I don't know. It looks pretty good. So if you have an iPad, you can only get it on the iPad right now. Can't get it on iPhone, can't get it on Mac, can't get it on PC. But I mean, if that's what they're going for, so if you get an iPad, you got $3 a month to give to Richard Branson.
Check it out.
Check it out. It looks pretty cool.
Speaking of other big names, bunch of craziness has been happening with WikiLeaks.
Yes,
I can never pronounce that guy's name because he got some
he's
last
Swedish
name.
or
Yeah,
something.
no, he's not actually. He's Australian.
Oh, whatever.
He's Australian. Then he moved. He was moving around a lot.
Still
and ended
does.
up in Sweden.
Yeah.
Because they've got looser publication rules and stuff. A lot looser. But basically, WikiLeaks, which has been in the press before for Afghanistan war documents and Iraq war documents being leaked, has now leaked cables.
They've started to leak. Apparently,
Yes.
they have a collection of like 250,000 of them or something.
Yeah,
like
something
that.
around there. I think they've leaked somewhere around 30,000 now.
Something like that. They're leaking them slowly. Basically, they're cables of American government communications.
With everything else.
So what you're getting out of this is backdoor communications, where like I'm the ambassador to, let's say, Afghanistan, and I'm going to go have these official talks, which are all public.
Yeah.
And then later,
I'm
when
gonna
I go
talk
back and
about
talk to
how-
the government from Afghanistan,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, well, actually, this is what I really think of that guy, and that's where this comes out.
And I really actually want to blow up this building
Yeah.
instead of that building.
So it's kind of tricky for the States. They've reacted fairly well.
There's been kind of mixed opinions. The states have decided that they're going to try and get this guy, who I can never pronounce his name, they're going to try him under the Espionage Act, which was made in 1917 and is complete and utter crap.
And is completely,
And basically,
in a lot of people's opinion, does not apply in any way.
No, so basically they're going to try him as a terrorist because he leaked this information. But the thing about that is they'd also have to go and try The Guardian and The New York Times
because they all
leaked
it.
the information, which is exactly the same thing.
Now, to be fair, they did have an NDA with the government.
Yeah,
because the government knew about this before it happened.
Right, but the thing was the government said, we don't really care, and then the New York Times published the information.
No, that's not. No, the New York Times, they went to all the news agencies and said, you can publish it, but not until we say so.
Oh, okay.
So that when they started publishing it, the government had said, okay, go do it.
Right. So,
but still,
the government said,
not
okay,
better.
go do it.
Yeah, it's not better in any way.
How do you try someone for leaking it if the government's going to be like, well, we gave you an NDA, but we'll let you publish it anyways, as opposed to being like, don't publish this.
And then what no one's really thinking about, where did they get the information? Someone gave it to them.
Yeah.
WikiLeaks is not the company that goes and hacks
No.
databases and things.
It's just one of those guys that knows everyone and has his hands in everyone's back
Someone
pockets.
leaked a lot of information to these people, and I mean, WikiLeaks is just going to report it. That's what they've done in the past.
I think the most interesting reaction was one of the when the government officials was kind of like, this doesn't matter because no one likes the states, and they don't deal with the states because they get a friendly smile and secrecy. They deal with the states because they economically have to, and there's no other way of doing it. So
This
it's like,
is
sure,
American
we do all this
representative,
stupid stuff, but you're still going to deal with it because you have to.
And you know what? After all this, they're still going to deal with the states. 'Cause
Absolutely.
they still have to.
And these conversations are still going to happen behind doors,
Oh, yeah.
and stupid things are still going to be
And
said.
you can't expect these conversations not to happen. People are people. If I'm the ambassador to one country and I don't like the ambassador to the country I'm the ambassador to, that doesn't mean our countries aren't going to talk.
No.
You know, it just doesn't work that way.
Anyway, you can check out WikiLeaks' website. You can read those cables if you want to. There's a whole ton of them. You can search by timeline and by category and by country. So they actually did a pretty good job of managing it.
They really do, because I actually went through and read all when they leaked the Afghanistan documents.
Yeah.
You could actually read field reports on a map of
Yeah.
Afghanistan, like Google Maps. You could click and say there was an incident here that happened this and this.
Yeah,
and this. And
it's pretty well organized if you
Yeah.
are interested in reading the information.
So they did present it pretty well. On the Canadian front, we found out that the Americans think we have an inferiority complex, apparently. I don't know where that came from. Screw you. Take that for inferiority. And then this hasn't leaked yet, but our ambassador to Afghanistan thinks bad things are going to leak, so he's quit. That's got to be pretty bad.
I don't know.
I guess he doesn't
He's being Canadian and being all
I guess
reserved about it, whereas
He
the
was-
states are like, yeah, we did stuff.
I guess he said some things about the president
Probably.
of Afghanistan that he's kind of like, yeah, I'm out.
I get fired anyways.
Yeah,
Might as well keep my pension.
yeah, I guess. But yeah, check it out. WikiLeaks has got it's well organized if that's your thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Last bit of news for this week: Verizon launching LTE network.
Only in the States. If you're
Because
interested.
Verizon's only in the states.
No,
Oh.
they're in Europe as well.
Oh right. Yes.
No,
No,
yeah,
no, they're not.
Yes,
Are
they
you
are.
sure?
Yes.
I'm unsure.
We'll check later.
Okay. That's the kind of credible information we give you
Yes,
here.
but credible information from
At least North America.
for United States.
Yes.
Verizon is launching their LTE network. That's long-term evolution. Basically, that's 3G taken to the next level, so it's
4G.
4G. But there's been some controversy over this because I think they're launching like something like 36 markets or something like that, probably all the big cities. There's a list if you want to check out the Gizmodo article or the Engadget article or the Wired article or Verizon's website. It's freaking everywhere on the internet. But they are launching. They don't have very many phones that are 4G, really. At
No,
all.
they got like 2 or 3.
Yeah, and they got 4G modems coming, which is
Yes.
good because that's a big draw. But the controversy has been it's not really 4G.
No.
Their speeds
Yet.
are kind of on par with what we get here in Canada with our 3G plus,
Yeah.
which is like HSPA plus,
Yeah.
which is really like 20 megabits, 25 megabits. So Verizon's going 4G, 25 megabits, and everyone's like, no.
Well, arguably, it's better than what AT&T is getting on anywhere.
Well, yeah,
'Cause,
that's
you know,
true. But
AT&T
they don't
is
claim.
like, iPhones have killed us.
Well, they did.
So
I don't know. I think it's just kind of like when Rogers goes and launches 4G, Verizon's just going to look silly.
yeah, because Rogers
Rogers
will
will be like
75.
yeah,
megabits.
50, 75, and
Yeah.
they're like,
Damn.
oh. So if you're an American and you're on Verizon and you want a little more speed, you can maybe look.
If you
for
want our speed.
to December 5th, it goes live.
Yeah. So that's it this week from Tech Insight.
It's kind of alive.
Nah, it's still dead.
Oh. Hi everyone, and welcome to Mad Science. This week we got 3 stories for you, and they're kind of interesting.
Yep. The first one is more of a theoretical thing. So, a chemist in New York has wondered what would happen if you took everything in the periodic table and smashed them all together. And the
And-
answer to that is basically it would be cool at first, but after that it wouldn't be very interesting because a lot of things just don't react together. You know, place them
Yeah.
next to each other and like
Really,
nothing.
they made a great point. There's what did he say? There's 118 elements that they think they would be able to smash, or
Yeah.
that they would smash together, which would require 118 particle accelerators.
Yeah.
But the problem is, not everything's going to react the same way all the time. So you could run 100 experiments with 118 particle accelerators, with 118 particles and get different results. So it's a resounding, I don't know.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But it's a really good thought experiment though, because they said it could be, maybe they'll get the which we're going to talk about later, the quark gluon plasma, which they believe is part of what was the early universe.
Yeah.
Or made up a lot of the early universe. Or Scott's favorite was the burning plutonium, which yeah, it's bad.
Don't breathe that.
Yeah,
Just saying.
it's a very, very bad thing if that ever happens. And so it's kind of,
Yeah.
It's a good thought experiment. If you think of anything, send us an
It's one
email
of those
about
things
that.
that sounds like a good idea, but then when you actually think about it, it's like, yeah, it's cool, but really not worth the effort.
And the best thing is, you can't try it at home. So
And if you can, look us up. Come
yeah,
on.
either do it and let us know, or do it and we'll find out eventually anyway. But coming up next, NASA made a huge press conference
Giant
announcement.
press conference today.
They have found life on Earth that is not formally known.
Not life as we expected.
Yeah. So the way they announced it, and this is what kind of bugged me, they announced it as if, like, we have found green chicks and we are going to find them in space. They didn't find that, and if you don't get that joke, do your homework. Anyway, so they found a new bacterium, and it is in Mono Lake, California, which is a highly, it's a lake that's highly, filled with a lot of arsenic.
Yeah.
There's a lot of it present. And this particular bacterium actually doesn't have, like, every life form on this planet that we know of, or that we knew of,
Yeah.
had, you could say, essentially 4 basic parts to its DNA. You had carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and phosphorus. This organism does not have phosphorus, but actually has had it replaced with arsenic. So it's unlike anything on the planet.
So this could mean aliens because we have now broadened our definition. Basically, we've
Absolutely.
broadened our definition of life as we expected.
By definition, it would be actually alien.
Exactly.
However, did it come from space? Was it here all the time and just had followed a different path? Who knows?
Aliens probably planted it there.
There
Just
is
saying.
that theory as well. But, it would be interesting to see what the studies show for this, because this was announced at time of recording, so December 2nd, that they decided to come out with it. And it's rather interesting on a biological standpoint that this is completely different than anything else.
Definitely not as mind-blowing as aliens, but just as cool.
Just as cool. It would have been even better if they'd said, we found aliens.
Green chicks.
Yeah, green chicks. Come on. Everyone wants to do that. Well, green dude for you, maybe. I don't know.
I'll take a.
So, moving on.
I'll take the black and white. The.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, moving on.
So, moving on. CERN has come up with another great discovery because they have been going crazy now that they've started their lead-ion collisions. They are finding all sorts of crap, for want of a better word. They're making so many different discoveries. They've actually got to the point now where think they've found what the universe looked like, or was at the beginning, just after the Big Bang.
Cool.
For about a billionth of a second, they have actually found the quark gluon plasma, which is a very interesting thing. Unfortunately, I can't explain exactly what it is because, the article didn't completely specify it. Check the show notes, though, and you'll find that article and read through it because it's quite interesting. They did the heavy ion collisions, and they're noticing that the way that the ions have collided is a little bit different than everything else. Usually when they collide, they have a burst, and there's 2 jets of particles and gluons and quarks and other subatomic crap.
Particles everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Subatomic particles go kablooey. And basically at this point, a different behavior has happened.
Cool.
And they're finding that they may now know what the universe was like at the beginning. However, this is leading them to something else which I will try and cover next week because I'm expecting the full story on that one. They're thinking that they may even be able to start piercing the veil of dimensions.
Ooh.
So they may be able to start finding information about the higher dimensions that are theoretical right now. So we could eventually have our time machine.
Sliders.
Maybe. But so check out our show notes for these stories and get a better idea of the articles because they're very interesting. NASA will have a lot more information. You've probably already seen it by now, but check it out. Like I said, biologically speaking, absolutely crazy.
Huge news.
And then if you think you can find a way or come up with an idea of what happens when you mix all the elements in the planet together, let us know because I'd like to see that. But otherwise, that wraps it up for this week's Mad Science.
Hey everybody, welcome behind the lens. We're going to talk about this guy. But first, if you're a Canon shooter, there's an unlock.
Well, no, what they've decided is that for the first time, Canon is allowing you to send them your camera to have your hardware modified.
Allowing you to send them your camera.
Yes. So on the 60D that they brought out this year, their mode dial on the top has a locking button in the middle. So you have to push in to turn that dial. Now, some people love it, and some people hate it. And I can understand. There's some people are just like, I don't want to have to push multiple buttons to change my mode. And then there's other people who are like, I'm trying to shoot video, and I hit it out of this mode, which I think is kind of stupid. But
what are you doing?
Some people apparently really like the locking mode dial. So Canon has decided if you have a 7D or a 5D that you can send your 7D or 5D into them, and they will replace the mode switch with a locking mode switch
for the low price
of some undisclosed fee that they won't tell you until you send them their camera. So they do
different for everybody.
I don't know because they have their thing on their website with like the 7D and the 5D, and it's like contact us to find out pricing. They've got nothing listed on the site. So I don't know if it's like cheaper for the 7D or cheaper for the 5D.
You think? But does it really need to be that secretive?
I don't know. It's Canon. They do weird things.
Well, true.
So if you really want to have a locking mode switch on your camera because you are constantly knocking it out, and you were like, oh damn, my 7D just doesn't have it, and that 60D does, and maybe I'll downgrade my camera for that locking mode. I don't know what the hell the big deal is. Okay, I've never had an issue with this. Doesn't what am I? Oh my God! I've changed the mode with my face. I don't.
The thing I like too is it's been all over the internet this week.
Like everyone's like, oh my God, we can change the mode now. It's like, calm the hell down, Canon guys. Like. Nikon's not like, hey, yo, listen, we're having issues. We need to change our dials. Nikon doesn't have locking mode dials. Nikon users aren't like, ah! Apparently Canon users are just bad using their cameras or something.
I guess.
However, if you're not a Canon user and instead are looking for a new camera, something that maybe shoots some pretty awesome video, we got this guy right here.
Panasonic GH2.
Brand new. There's only a couple of them in Canada right now. Henry's was the only company in North America to get some right now, and they're sold out, and I have one of them. This is my own personal copy because I've been waiting for a GH2 for a while.
Yes.
So I'm going to talk first about its video capabilities because that's why I bought it, and for a lot of people, I think that's why they're going to buy it. First off, you get the great articulating screen, which the Canon had, but unlike the Canon, this actually comes out flat because the Canon was kind of at a weird angle.
Yeah,
which was like it was kind of annoying because you were never looking at it straight on.
Especially if you have rigging, you kind of like.
Yeah, you're kind of tilting a little bit.
Yeah.
So you get the free angle LCD, which is nice. But what's cool is that when you have the Canon cameras in a shooting video, that mirrors up, so your viewfinder is useless. You have to use a screen. But because there's no mirror in the Panasonic cameras, that's the big thing, mirrorless cameras. You have an electronic viewfinder, which is great because you can still shoot video this way. And I shot video that way, and it was so easy. Like I was stable, and I could just move around, and I kind of felt like I was using like an old, winding 16mm film camera or something like that. It was really, and the viewfinder, the electronic viewfinder on this guy is spectacular.
Yeah, it's great.
Really easy to focus with. So video capabilities, it's AVC HD, which some people kind of balk at, but in my opinion, you get sharper video, you get longer recording times. You're not limited to 10-minute clips. You can record
which has been a big caveat.
I believe the clip length maximum is 2 hours in one go, which no one ever needs. Unless you're doing a really long time lapse, and that you should be doing stills anyways. So you get really long recording times at much better compression. You get like 45 minutes of video on an 8 gig card versus like the 23 you'd get on the 60D with an 8 gig card. And I really find that the clarity is better. Panasonic has really spent a lot of time on the processor for video on this guy, and it's resolving more information than the Canon does. So my complaint about it at this point is that the LCD screen it's easy to focus with, but the color representation is kind of poor. It's not much of an upgrade from the GH1.
No.
It's still the same 460,000 dots versus the full megapixel that the Canons have. and the colors are better than the GH1, but they're still, you look at the screen and it kind of looks like garbage, and then you look at the footage on your computer and you're like, wow, this is spectacular. So you kind of have to be like, in Panasonic I trust, all right.
Yeah, it's a little hard to review clips.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically going to be reviewing clips for framing, because the colors you just have to kind of go with. Now, what is cool is that they put their cinema color space in, which is what they use on their video cameras, which has better grading capabilities if you're going to edit your footage, which is kind of neat. And we did shoot on the cinema, and it looks great.
It does look
the colors are really fantastic. Now, ISO 3200 on this camera is super clean. It's cleaner than the 5D Mark II. It's cleaner than the 60D. I have no problem shooting on ISO 3200, with the exception that the models that have hit the US right now have an issue. And that is when you're shooting at ISO 3200 in hard lighting, there's a black bar that appears. It's not full black. It's semi-transparent. You can't always see it. It depends on the lighting.
Yeah.
And as you change your shutter speed up or down, it kind of jumps up or down in the frame, depending on where your shutter speed is. So it's a bit of an issue. It goes away if you shoot at a 30th of a second, but that's not ideal. You really want to shoot at a 50th of a second. So it's gonna be interesting to see if Panasonic can fix that in firmware, or whether I'm gonna have to get my sensor replaced.
And what you were saying is that's U.S. models only, so the Japanese models.
The Japanese models that people have picked up have so far not exhibited this problem. I've talked to Andrew Reed in the UK, and talked to Philip Bloom in the UK. Both those guys have GH2s from Japan, and we've also seen a bunch of footage from Japanese models, and no one has seen those. But I've confirmed on 2 models that I've personally tried that it does it, and someone else from Canada has also picked one up and said they found the same problem as well. So there's been a holdback on these cameras. The EU hasn't got them yet, and some people are kind of speculating that's the problem. But at this point, I'm willing to put up with the issue, because in every other respect, it's fantastic. And I can get around it by shooting at 1/30th a second, which is kind of a workaround until it fixes the problem. You get 1080 24p, you get 1080 60i, you get 720 60, so a bunch of good frame rates. They've got a really great overcrank mode where you can shoot at 80% frame rates, so it slows it down a bit, or you can do 160, 200, and 300. So 300 is kind of neat because it gives you a bit of a stop motion effect. I shot a cool thing of the moon, and you could see the moon moving across the sky, which is really neat. It's also got this great 1-to-1 crop mode, which basically looks at the native 1920 by 1080 pixels in the middle. So you don't lose any image quality because you're seeing pixel for pixel resolution, but you get a 5x crop, which means if you're using some of the older lenses with the adapters that have vignetting, you're not going to get that vignetting, but you can shoot the video with them. You got a chance to play with it. What do you think ergonomically and use-wise?
First of all, like you're saying, super easy to focus. The viewfinder was spectacular, especially I just played with the D7000 a couple weeks ago, and I hated that viewfinder because it was awful. But this is like night and day. I really like the fact that it's not enormous.
Yeah.
Coming from a person who doesn't really shoot DSLR at all.
Well, especially because since you can use the viewfinder, it's nice to have a light camera because you don't mind shooting this way, as opposed to having to go and buy a Zacuto Z finder and end up with a rig that's this big and you want a counterweight and all that kind of stuff.
No,
you can pretty comfortably shoot handheld and just kind of get up in there and shoot with it.
No, I mean, it's fairly easy to navigate. The touchscreen's really cool. You can, if you touch in a certain spot, it zooms in.
So that you can check your manual focus.
Which is pretty cool. It's very quick to respond in the menus and that kind of
stuff.
stuff.
Panasonic makes it so you can use pretty much any lens you want. There's a whole metric ton of adapters for literally everything.
Good call, Panasonic, because you don't really... I mean, they make lenses, right?
They do, and their lenses are really good, but they are pricey.
Yeah.
And because there's no mirror in this guy, it allows older lenses like CCTV camera lenses and stuff that have a really short focusing distance that wouldn't work on a Canon because the mirror distance is too far.
Yeah.
So you have a really good compatibility with older lenses, which is kind of cool, too.
Plus, it makes it an easier switch over to that camera, right?
Yeah.
So you've already got Canon lenses. Well, you can buy an adapter and pick up a GH2.
It's also got a stereo mic, which is something that none of the SLRs
and
offer.
sounds not bad.
It's pretty decent.
For the
now, what's really cool is you get on-screen levels when you're recording audio.
Do any other cameras have
No,
that?
no one else does that. You do get levels on the Canon when you set your audio, but as soon as you actually jump out of setting your audio, you don't see those anymore.
Which, now that's a really nice feature. However, the mic input
is a 2.5 millimeters, so you have to get an adapter to use your standard Rode video mics and things like that. Not a big issue. They're like $1.50 online.
Still kind of more like a confusing choice, but it does have the mic inputs.
Yeah. Now, to be honest, I haven't shot a lot of stills, but quickly on the still side, it's 16 megapixels now instead of 12, so they upped the megapixels. The image quality is pretty good. It goes to 12,800 ISO. Looks like garbage at 12,800. There's other cameras that don't. for what it's worth. Pentax and the Nikons look pretty decent at 12,800.
At a similar price range, then?
Well, the Pentax KR looks pretty good at 12,800, and it's a little bit cheaper than this guy with a lens. So I would really top out at 3,200 on this guy. 6,400 and 12,800 not so useful, but the 3,200 is really clean. It's cleaner than other cameras at 3,200, so that's what I like about it. It does have a really awesome 40 frame per second, 1 second burst mode. So basically, touch the button down, goes boom, and it runs off 40 frames at about 2.5 megapixels. Which is really cool if you actually want to take that footage and put it into video and do like a slow motion effect, because it's more or less it's halfway towards a 60 frames per second kind of thing. So overall, I really like the camera. If you're looking for a genuine do everything camera, this is really the one to go with. You're looking at $1,000 body only if you want to buy mounts and use lenses you might already have, or $1,600 if you pick it up with their 14 to 140 lens, which is a really awesome range. It works super well for focusing in video, and it's pretty good optics. So you're paying $600 for that lens, but realistically, Nikon and Canon's similar range lenses cost about the same price. So it's kind of par for the course with this camera. Overall, I think right now, if you're looking for a camera to shoot video with, this is your best choice. If you're looking for an all-together camera, still your best choice. If you're looking for mostly stills, I would probably say go Nikon or Canon, because the still capabilities are a little bit better resolution for as far as the clarity and the raw capabilities and things like that for this guy for stills.
Cool.
All right, well, that's behind the lens for this week.
Alright guys, in lieu of the lull of the week this week, we're going to do Sam's AFS Holiday Gift Guide for the next couple weeks since Christmas is coming up. So maybe it's a good gift, maybe it's a crazy gift.
Maybe it's an awesome gift this week. Scott, have you ever won an aircraft carrier?
Every day of my life.
Every day? 1.5 million?
Sounds reasonable.
Alright, so the British Navy they're going to be putting up for auction the HMS Invincible. For you Top Gear fans, that's the aircraft carrier that killed the Black Stig.
Yeah, he drove a nitrous Jag off the
Jag
end.
off the little ski ramp. So 1.5 million. You think that'd be,
That's a steal if I can go drive around and kind of intimidate some countries, just kind of park
19
outside.
levels.
It comfortably
Party
fits
boat.
about 1,000 people.
You can show up all the guys at your yacht club. But unfortunately, 1.5 million will get you just the shell.
Literally just the aircraft carrier.
Everything cool has been taken out. The engine, the guns, obviously.
See, when I read that at first, I was like, oh, all the cool stuff's gone. So the guns are gone, and they took the Harrier jump jets off.
Yeah.
And then they were like, and the engines. And I'm like, what are you going to do with a big floating can?
Show up the guys at your yacht club. There's party boat. There's parking for 22 aircraft. Come on.
Or 50 vehicles of,
Give or take.
G-class.
Yeah.
Bringing back the amphibious vehicle.
But, so if you have, like, a guy with, like, a buddy with a really big truck, a Ram 3500 or something.
Maybe.
You get a trailer.
Silverado HD.
Just tow that baby home.
Yep.
It'd be nice for an evening on the lake.
Definitely.
For sure.
Or it'll consume your entire lake. But, we'll deal with that later.
Tomato. So, if you want to pick up an aircraft carrier for your significant other, you got a 1.5 mil around, go talk to the Brits. Mm-hmm. They've got just what you need. Only one, though. One in stock, so get it while it's hot.
It's totally unique. Your significant other would love it.
And if you're a Top Gear fan, it's... I think Clarkson should just buy it.
Hell yeah.
Or the Stig should buy it. Mount it on his wall.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the end of the show for this week. If you want to contact us, you can do so on Twitter at almost_Friday.
And if you want to send us an email saying, hey, we just bought the aircraft carrier, you can contact us at contact@almostfridayshow.com.
So that wraps up the show. And if you do get the aircraft carrier, call us. We want to party.